Like independently, how did you all arrive on this idea that, oh, we want to do this?
We went to like a glamping spot. Yeah, I know. So yeah. Uh,
Has to be a glamping spot.
yeah, it has to be a
Yes,
glamping
yes.
spot. Then we saw the guys manning it there, right? They just had some dogs running around that they own. And so we're like, wow, this is, if you could own this like resort, yeah, it's pretty dope. Like you just enjoy life, right? I think this is really what life should be about. The idea is that, we want that level of freedom where we can do what we want.
So you've never been to the glamping spot.
No,
Then
we
why
need to
you
bring
on
him.
this thing?
No, like they invited me, but I was like, I had something on. I honestly want to go there because they've been like, I feel like sidelined about this.
We are not original. We are copycats. So I saw on Shark Tank, there was this company called Knife Aid. They pitched the idea of a mail-in sharpening service. So then we saw this knife sharpening, we're like, this is really cool. Let's give it a shot. So we gave it our 12-week cycle.
Welcome back to Chills with TFC. I'm your host, Reggie, aka your Chief Financial Coconut, and we are back in studio for another interesting story. So today, I think we found three guys that want to be jobless. Right, that's a fair statement, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So they are working very hard to try to achieve this goal of, I think, 30,000 monthly recurring revenue so that they can retire in Chiang Mai.
Yes.
Right? So that is the whole gist of it all, right? And think by right it's three people, but one person worked too hard, so left two people here, right? So that's but yeah. Without further ado, maybe for our audience that don't know you, can you introduce yourself?
My name's Sean. I'm 26 this year. In the day, I work as a software engineer for a US tech company. But at night, I'm one of three members of the Jobless Club, which is kind of like an indie hacking team where we work on side projects to hopefully help us retire earlier.
And my name is Joseph. I'm also a software engineer by day. And on the side, we work on the same projects as Sean, software and other businesses that we come up with.
Okay. Are you also you're in the same software company?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So who started this crazy idea of trying to do this jobless thing?
Yeah, I think we all tried little attempts on our own, but we eventually came together. So pulled together. So our third guy, Jonas, I've known him since Sec 1. We've known each other for a very long time, and we used to do a little bit of projects together here and there. And I met Joseph back in university in year 1 as well. So we were floor mates. And he also had the same propensity for building these kind of projects. And so finally had this project that we're like, okay, let's come together, build something. We worked on it, and then ever since we've been working together because I think we get together well.
Okay, fair. So I think they have a whole website. You can go and check out all their weird little side gigs, which most of it didn't work. We'll get there, right? What worked and why, and some look like it worked, but then why do you kill it? So that's that whole bit of discussion, right? So but give me a little bit more color, right? Like independently, how did you all arrive on this idea that, oh, we want to do this, right? We want to do this whole project to be jobless, and then like why Chiang Mai? Like I don't know. So yeah, just give me some color on that backstory. Yeah.
I mean, in terms of kind of interest and whatnot, I think, as mentioned previously just now, when I was young already, so I was born in the US, I was born into an Air Force family. So my dad's a fighter pilot. My brother actually also is joined recently as a fighter pilot. So that's
And
kind of,
they're Americans
no, they're all Singaporeans. So all
Singaporean?
from, but my dad was deployed there.
deployed there.
Yeah.
So the Singaporean Air Force
Yes,
there.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, Singaporean
fighter
Air Force
pilot.
deployed him there. Then I was born during that period as well when I was in Arizona. Yeah, I spent a few years there while he was also deployed in different locations there. So that was kind of my family upbringing. But yeah, since young, I'd love to build little projects here and there. So I think I was 10, 11. I built a website and I designed like a trading card game because I was really interested in like board games and stuff like that. And
You
I
wanted
printed
to
out the
cash in
cards.
on that thing.
Yeah, I want to cash in on that thing. So I printed out the cards, cut them up, wrap them up, and then try to sell it in school. I made like $20. I sold like 4 booster packs at a time before I think it was a huge thing. So since young, I've loved to do this kind of thing. Then I came back to Singapore. I stopped doing that kind of thing.
Because the teacher scold you, right?
Yes, correct as well. Yeah.
Sorry,
And,
sorry.
yeah, so it was back to marketing culture. And but then after I left school, then started again working on these projects, but this time from a more tech perspective because at the time I already started coding.
No, but then how did you end up? Like, how did you? I mean, independently, you all kind of wanted something like that, right? But how did you end up? Like for you first, right? Like how did you end up with this idea that, okay, I'm gonna try to like do this recurring revenue and then get out of the corporate grind? And
Yeah.
Chiang Mai, that's a little story, lah, right? Right. Yeah. Everybody have a fascination of somewhere. Then you just set a location. But yeah, how did that mind get there?
So before I went to uni actually, so I started coding quite a lot before uni. and started freelancing actually for some startups. So that's when I got hooked up with one of my early mentors who was working for Australian startup at the point in time. So he took me under his wing. He brought me through a lot of the ins and outs of the business. And that's when I got to see like, okay, so this is how things really roll behind the scenes, right? This is how these guys are making money. Then that's when I started getting exposed to more of the indie hacking side of things. So indie hacking is very, very big. The concept is pretty much just solo software developers working on mini side projects that make them like 5 to 10k MRR. You see guys like Peter Levels, John Young Fook, they're making like a few $100,000 to $1 million a year, just off of these side projects, all as solo developers. So it's very contrasting to a lot of the startup guys that they want to raise millions, exit. It's very much the opposite end where it's one or two dudes bootstrapping with their own skills, making a comfortable little side passive income salary through software projects and go from there. So this is very much in the scene, and that's so once you see all this stuff going on, then you get interested, and then that's when we started building. But ours is a little bit different in that our hypothesis is that it's difficult to work alone, and so you rather work as a team of 3 indie hackers rather than one for consistency.
Okay, fair. And you?
Yep. My background's a bit different. From young, I didn't have a propensity to build anything. I was just along with the education system, study and maybe get a job. But I think the closest,
yeah, the typical one, right? Say, that's the system.
the closest thing you could say, if everyone goes on hindsight, the closest thing was that I love to build Lego.
Okay.
Build stuff. But I think what changed was that it's a bit influenced by social media and some hype where like the software building stuff and content creation where you can be your own living by your own terms. But initially influenced by the hype, I started my own like creating content, building software, and then I also took on a university course that's related to software. And I realized as I build this stuff, I like the level of ownership. Like, there's something that you own that you can really build, without like $10,000. And then you can share it with millions of people that can get immediate feedback on your work. And I really like that. So I think I tried to explore that more in university. That's when I truly got into the depth of it and met Sean. And then we exchanged ideas, and that's how we ended up with Jobless Club. There's actually a really funny story about how the name Jobless Club came about. Do we get to it?
Yes, tell me. Yeah.
So like initially it was not like, okay, we want to build a list of ideas. It was more of like, okay, we started with the 100 Club, as you guys will hear later. It's just a mastermind community for founders. But eventually we decided, okay, if we were to continue this on and try different projects, we want like some overarching name. But even before that, we were just checking for some domain names, right? Just what's cool. And then we're like, jobless.club is available. And we're like, that's going to be very valuable in the future. And so we're like, and that aligns with our whole dynamic. I mean, our goal is not to be like jobless per se, but we want to work on stuff that we feel like we have more control, ownership, and like influence over more. Yeah, so that's how Jobless Club came about, I think. Yeah.
So it's not really about exiting the corporate grind.
Personally, not for me, but yeah.
Yeah, it's less of that. Like the point always is that, and I think it's whatever articles you read about retirement and everything, there's a consistent message which is it's less about retiring and stop doing anything, right? It's just more about the freedom to take a step
Do
back
whatever you
and
want,
do whatever
right?
you want, right? So let's say in my case, like okay, not I'm gonna take a step back from work once I have enough money, but
HR, relax, okay? HR, relax, relax. Yeah.
But the idea is that, if I do sort of stop grinding so hard at work, and I spend the time instead, working on side quests, like let's say I want to become a world champion for a card game, or I want to be really good at tennis, or I want to sharpen knives really well, right? So all these things I can do on the side and pursue with that comfort, knowing that if I do get fired or if I quit my job, I have enough to sustain me.
Okay. So to tie that part of the story, right? Then why 30,000? Why Chiang Mai? You it's probably meanderish, right? And how do you ended up in this?
So, but the whole Thailand part, right? That one met in because Jonas and I think we went over to. So we need to bring Joseph there one day, but we went over to this place called Khao Kor, which is like a 6-hour drive north of Bangkok. We went over there and it was like this just serene. We saw this. We went to like a glamping spot. Yeah, I know. So yeah.
Has to be a glamping spot.
Yeah, it has to be a
Yes,
glamping
yes.
spot. Then we saw the guys manning it there, right? They just had some dogs running around that they owned. And this was their life, right? They were just, and entertaining these guests, making sure everything was upkept very well. It was like aircon weather there. And so we're like, wow, this is, if you could own this like resort, yeah, it's pretty dope. Like you just enjoy life, right? I think this is really what life should be about. And so we saw that, I was like, wow, this is a dream. But at the end of the day, it's just the end state is arbitrary, right? It's I mean, like whatever you decide to do at that point in time, it's it's up to you. But the idea is that we want that level of freedom where we can do what we want.
So you've never been to the glamping spot.
No,
Then
we need
why
to
you
bring
on
him.
this thing?
No, like yeah, I think that they invited me, but I was like, I had
It's
something
like,
on.
glamping, yeah, weird, yeah. Right? No. So that was what was in your head, right?
Yeah.
Like, who goes glamping? It's like, okay.
I honestly want to go there because they've been like, I feel like sidelined about this. But I think like you said, like it's quite arbitrary. Also, like even if we stay in Singapore and we work on our own stuff, I think we'll still have that same level of fulfillment.
Okay, so actually the whole thing is just a story and a goal, lah.
We need to have
Right?
we need to
you
visualize
have a
our goal.
visual,
Yeah.
right? So that's
exactly.
where we are going with this thing. Okay, okay, fair. Then why kind of do a main job and then still do this on the side, right? Like where is that? How do you look at this thing? Yeah.
So Joseph can talk more about the reason, like, because he was considering at one point in time to do it full time, right?
Yeah.
So I'll say from my perspective, I held the opposite kind of thought in that. Yes, there's some guys that go very, very hardcore, right?
If not, you really become jobless.
Yeah, no, that one is really jobless.
It's like really
That one
jobless.
is achieving the
Yeah,
goal
it's like-
early. But so there's those guys that go really hardcore, right? They say, I'm gonna go all in full time. And yes, it's really good for these individuals, but I strongly believe my hypothesis is that you make poor decisions when you are financially strapped. Like the flexibility we have now, where we have base income, right, from the job, we can learn on the job, right? We can learn from different people there. Without the pressure that is taken off your shoulders, because if you were to do it full time, let's say you have no salary, right, you're gonna make decisions that's gonna try and push and earn quick cash and whatnot, and not necessarily good for long term business. So let's say right now I want to throw in like 5-10K into ads, right? If I didn't have a job, that would be like kind of a stretch for me, right? But because now we have the income from the job, we can be like, okay, let's just try this out, right? So we have that flexibility. So I also believe that there's a kind of curve, right? To how much effort you put in and the rewards you get out of it. So let's say I spend 16 hours a day working on this startup, right? I think the benefits towards the last few hours taper off. But if every day I spend like 4 or 5 hours after work, like I think that's the maximum. You get the most out of it. But that's kind of my take on it.
I think you're wasting your life doing this. We should do something else. Right? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I
Were
think
you also like a believer in that?
I wasn't.
You
I was
wanted
a
all
believer.
in,
I was like,
yeah. Go big or go home,
yeah,
guys.
like-
Yeah.
I was like, if I don't go big on it now, and in 5 years' time I don't achieve my goal, like, will I be happy with myself? Like I didn't make that decision. Is it gonna be something I regret? Because some things are like time based, right? But then eventually, I think I still came to the same conclusion, but from a different reason, and that is that you only want to go big if you have a very sure, or like if you see an indicator of like very good market fit or very clear opportunity. But if you go in blindsided and think like, okay, I think this is gonna be a big opportunity, you haven't seen any visible results to show like that's gonna happen, then like you're just taking a big risk for
Yeah,
nothing.
it's all a dream.
Yeah,
right?
correct.
There's
It's
no
just-
sign.
Yeah, it's just all that rationalizing happening in your head and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, fair. So maybe help me understand, right? So all three of you have a full-time job, right? And in the category, it all sounds like it's pretty good full-time jobs, right? And by extension, I don't know if it's a fair statement. Pretty good full-time job means it takes up quite a lot of bandwidth and time, lah. Right? That's kind of how it works. Have you kind of calculated like what is the minimum kind of like cruising level that you need to get to so that you can put more bandwidth onto, like your jobless club thing?
Yeah. At least for us, we're both quite similar in that we don't really like to do things like half-heartedly. So even at work, we go pretty hardcore. We're not looking to just cruise at this stage yet. But I don't think.
I mean, if you
yeah.
are, you're not gonna. Relax, okay? No quiet quitters here. Okay, yeah.
No quiet quitting anything. Yeah, or at least I can't say here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
So we still, and I don't think it's impossible at this stage to go like hardcore for both, right? It's just a matter of getting that balance and sustainability. Yeah. So yes, we're not compromising on one or the other. I think at least at this stage. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about what you guys have tried, right? So if you have not checked it out, you can check out the website, right? The Jobless Club, and there's like they've tried a few different things. They've scrapped it, got RIP, got everything there, right? So it's really kind of like a build along with me type of energy, right? Which is very cool. I think it's trendy in today's time. Last time people want to succeed already, then tell you, right? Now you build on the go, right? We learn this thing together. So, and on your list of stuff that you guys have done, there's only one thing that's still kind of ongoing, right? So that one we will stay for later, But you guys have tried many other things. So can you just kind of like walk me through on like what you've tried, the different iterations and all that?
So the high level, our approach is always we run on quarterly cycles. So every quarter we try and launch a new project. If that project works, we continue maintaining it. If it doesn't work, we scrap it and we try a new one. So we have a whole sort of formalized structure to keep this process going. So for example, the reason you don't see 1,000 projects there is because some projects we felt was working and we just kept on trying to sustain it quarter on quarter to see how we could make it work. But the first one that really brought us all together was the 100 Club. That was a private mastermind community for founders that we pulled together. And that was the first big project that I worked on with Joseph, Jonas, and myself. Yeah. Um, then since then we've tried like quite a different series of products. I think there's Taping Club, there's Spark. We always switch between like, should we build software, build something that's really valuable for everybody, or do we go like the agency model? Not hating on agencies or anything, but like then we sacrificing the time for money, right? So we're always, which one do we do? Which is how Donna came about, right? Which was the idea of like an agency model of like a premium virtual assistant. That's Donna from Suits. So yeah. Then now we're working on this final project that we feel has some legs to it now.
Okay. Maybe we start with the 100 Club, right? Because that one, if you go there, I mean, that's not all the reference that I have, right? If you go on the website, you see that they actually made some money doing this, right? But it's scrapped, right? So it's the first project. You actually made some money doing it, but you scrap it, right? So can you kind of like walk me through on like what is the value proposition? What is the kind of like product like for this 100 Club? And then like, why do you all kill it? I mean, I know ultimately it's because you're not hitting your 30, MRR. So you're like, this is not working, but I want to hear that whole like bit.
I think we first started this because we were craving. It was like scratching our own itch. We were starting out then, and we wanted a way to connect with other founders. And so we decided, we were like wondering, how can we make this community a stronger community than what exists out there? And so we come along and explore the idea of masterminds, which is basically like a group of founders, a small group, just gather together to share their learnings and share their experiences. And we really like the depth. And so like I think the whole value proposition of 100 Club really is to have that breadth and that depth. So you connect to many founders, but at the same time, you have regular meetings with like founders similar in your background or like similar in your role or similar in your industry. And then you just go deep together and build the relationships there. And so actually some of them still continue to meet today and connect with each other today.
Pretty nice, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there's another part of this question that I completely missed.
Yeah. Which is like why you shut it down, right? Like what is the business model, right? And why I mean if it worked, why you shut it down? Yeah.
So maybe to preface all of this is that our ideas are not very original. So
It's not original. Many people have tried it.
Yeah, many people have tried. So everything you see over
I
there,
hate
right?
this idea. Because you're not many people have told me like, hey, why don't you do this? I was like, I'm not doing this. It doesn't work. All right. Yeah. But anyway, I want to hear your story.
Yeah. So every idea, we are big believers in that we don't want to reinvent the model. So all of these concepts is like wherever you see something, let's say in the US, it's working. So in the US, this model has worked very, very well. Like we did a lot of research with it. There's guys like Chief. So in 3 years, they achieve unicorn status using this model, right? But it's masterminds for female executives, VP level and up, right? And they're charging about 6.5K USD a year, maybe more now. So they're making a lot of money doing that. Then another company, Hampton, done by My First Million, the podcast, Sam, he referenced them. He built something similar, but for founders, very high net worth founders, and he's doing very, very well now. So I think the model works, and so we're like, okay, take a bit of that, try it over in Singapore. But I think we operationally were not. We really tried a lot of different iterations, but we couldn't make it work. In terms of the business model, what we were doing is that it's a monthly subscription model. So we initially started like $50 per month. Then we had a good number of founders paying for it, which is why you see the revenue over there. But for us, the juice sort of wasn't worth the squeeze. We are very, as you can see, like we're very introverted individuals. And so what we were doing was, it was the monthly masterminds where, we would go down with a facilitator. We have the monthly events, right? So we organize like, drinking sessions or whatever with everybody. Then you have the one-to-one meetup. So basically a lot of events, a lot of planning. And we were very, very tired. We were like super burnt out from this. And so we reached a stage where, okay, we're like, I think this is it. So we can't do this for much longer. and it's just sustaining, it's not growing. So yeah, so we decided to kill it.
So is it a business model problem here? Or is it like amongst the three of you, you're just not fit for this business model? I just want to hear that.
I think first and foremost, it's an issue with the three of us. Like we are very much tech forward, and the same will appear like the same problem all indie hackers have is that they're very tech forward guys and they don't do enough sales. So we've been trying to do a bit more of that, try and be a bit more outgoing and do that, but it is difficult. And so this is very much a people business, and you'd be very, very extroverted and not be so tired after the end of all these events. The second thing also, the business model in Singapore is difficult. People in Singapore are a bit more niao. Founders are a bit less rich. In the US, founders, because I spent a year in SF, people are willing to spend on whatever. They have so much money. Yeah. Singapore, not so much. Yeah.
Exactly what Sean said. It's a mix of both, and it's a bit like chicken and egg. I mean, like if we were making 100K a month on this business, despite all that meetings, will we still continue running it? Most likely, right? Maybe we'll hire people for it. But I think like
No, you'll be in Chiang Mai.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
true.
the plan, right?
That's
Yeah,
true.
you'll be glamping in Chiang
we'll
Mai.
set up a resort where all the founders are good.
all the founders will go there. So yeah.
No, that's the dream, man. But yeah, so it's like a chicken and egg. So like we on one hand we couldn't find a way to like skew it in a way that makes sense for us. And on the other hand, we are also like very tired. I mean, not from the hours we're putting in, but just because like the introvert part, and it's a bit hard to explain. But yeah,
No, I think people get it.
You get it? Yeah.
And bearing in mind, all this is a side hustle.
right.
It's like they're doing this whole thing as a side hustle. They have a main hustle. Now after that, you gotta go and entertain all these weirdos, right? Founders got all sorts of problems, right? So okay, fair. So eventually, how long did it last?
For 2+ years.
Oh my god,
2-3
that's
years.
so long.
No, we really tried a lot of iterations. We really believed in the model and the guys that we had inside. As in, frankly, you should have some of them here instead of us. We're not as successful as they are, but we're not even close. But yeah, so they've got some really impressive guys inside that kept us going, and we really enjoyed seeing them enjoy it. So that kept us going. But it reached a point where yeah.
Kind of 2 years, 16,000 is not worth it.
Yeah, no, it's super not worth it, man.
Okay, fair. And then what else came after? Like, what are some of the other things that came after that? We can have a little chat about before we enter the one that really works. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to talk about it?
Taping, was it
Yeah,
taping?
taping club was the first one after that.
Yeah.
You're very weird, huh? You give up the 100 club to start a taping club. I don't know.
It was actually like an overlap thing.
Yeah.
right?
It
You
was an
wanna talk about
overlap.
it? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually a very cool overlap. Also, it's
In retrospect, is it still cool?
it is very cool.
It's
Very
still
cool.
cool.
Yeah, it's very
Okay. I give it to you. Yes.
So in 100 Club, we had this, one of this feature was to like connect people one-to-one, like, like have taping on the side. So they can go out and meet up by themselves and, it would be randomized, right? So they just meet another founder in the community. And we realized that other communities may also want to have this kind of feature or this automation. So we built Taping Club, which is basically trying to achieve this, which is matching people one-to-one on Telegram. Yeah, so we built this so in order to offer more communities the ease of matching people one-to-one. Yeah, so first scratching our own itch and also realizing that other people have the same itch.
It's kind of like a SaaS.
Yes, and also, we wanted to pivot to more something that involves speaking to people less.
Okay, so you created like a tech system,
Yeah.
and then you just try to license it to everyone else on a subscription basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so when we thought we were going to speak to people less because of it, but we realized like,
End up saying,
you speak to people more because like, the sales, it's always going to be there. Right? You just have to overcome it, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. And that didn't work also.
No, it did, but we just couldn't monetize it. Like people were using it. Even now,
So
it's
it's a
still being used.
freemium strategy.
Yeah, it's a freemium
is it?
strategy, and
Okay.
realized that it is a useful thing, but again, people aren't willing to pay for it, so we leave it out there. Feel free to use it. Even like NOC, the N house now, the NUS, like this kind of hall stuff, they're using it for their to one-to-one matching all this, and so like go ahead.
Okay. But this is a recurring thing with all these like side quests. Like this is. I'm not saying it's a you thing. I'm saying that this is how this whole thing works, right? Like all this side questing, all this like hacking, all that. This is a given of such an idea, right? You will try, you will test it out. Most of it will not work, and then
exactly.
you will
Pivot, crush it, or whatever.
trash the
Yeah.
idea, go to the next thing, right? So this is it's a continuum.
Yeah,
lah.
exactly.
So for people that listen in, you should expect that this is what it is, right?
Yes.
And you shouldn't think of it as like, oh, this is a side hustle, I'm gonna do it all the way, right? I mean, it's really kind of like test and stretch, and doesn't work, then so be it lah.
Yeah, exactly.
We get to the next thing, right? Okay. And so what else then?
Do next?
Spark. Yeah.
The idea is that we wanted to do Be Real for like Telegram groups, because the problem statement is that a lot of the friend groups, right? After uni, you guys don't really kind of meet up anymore or interact, right? It's just maybe like the once a year then afterwards slowly fades and fades and fades. So we were all like at this point coming out of uni already. And so we're like, okay, let's do something about this, right? So the idea initially was we have a bot that sends a random prompt into the group and say like, take a video of where you are right now, like a B-reel like that. Then, send in the group, then get conversations
This
flowing.
looks damn creepy.
Yeah. So it eventually evolved to something a bit more where we had different random prompts. They could have different packs of like types of prompts they want or questions, things like that to keep the group entertained. Yeah. So that was a little mini project that we launched.
And also cannot monetize, right?
Also cannot monetize. Got a lot of users, but cannot monetize. Yeah. So people like the idea, but again, nobody's gonna pay for it. And we tried different models, but that's when we started realizing, okay, we need to adapt, change our process because we are launching products that has no monetization strategy.
You're using all the SF methods, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
essentially,
yeah. We should
right,
just go. We just
do test and
use
let's
it.
see
Yeah, yeah.
got traction, carry, raise money, we'll monetize later.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. But clearly the model doesn't quite
not
work
working
in the local market here.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. And then for three introverts constantly doing all this community shit,
Yeah.
at some point you kind of like realize that this community thing probably is not your thing. And then you moved into other stuff, right? I think that's a fair statement, right? Yeah. So maybe tell me a little bit more, how did the other projects kind of develop?
You just had Donna after that, right? I mean, we have a whole backlog of ideas. So we have a whole Notion system where we have a backlog of ideas that we'll review at the start of every quarter, see which one I want to bring in. At a point in time, we were like, oh man, none of our stuff is making money. Let's try and do a bit of the agency stuff, see if we can get a bit of cash in our pockets. Because previously, again, I was freelancing, so there's a bit of experience there. Jonas also did a bit of freelancing, right? And Joseph obviously has technical skill. So we tried that for a bit. We were like, the moment we started, we were just like,
Hate it, right?
yeah, this is really, like even if it's cash in the bank, it's
It's a
like
big pain in the ass.
pain in the ass.
Really.
Yeah.
And we are kind of like pseudo. I mean, traditional media, okay, we're not traditional, but the publisher model is very agency, right? So you deal with all sorts of people. I mean, two of you were fainted on the day you start. So you do also. I mean, there'll be people that you like. Eventually, you'll find your champions. You'll find the people that you love to work with, and then they understand your content vibe. They know what you're going for, and then you have a good time. But before getting there, you have to deal with all sorts of weirdos, right? So, sorry, I'm not saying you're weird. Okay, I'm still very happy to work with you. Yeah. Okay. And then you guys finally kind of like landed on something that worked, right? Yeah. Tell us more. This interesting thing. The sole surviving project of the Jobless Club.
And so again, like what I prefaced earlier, we are not original. We are copycats. So I saw on Shark Tank, there was this company called Knife Aid, where they pitched the idea of a mail-in sharpening service, whereby they mail you a packet, you put in your knives, they sharpen it, then they mail it back. I thought the model was very interesting because I'm kind of a sucker for, because a lot of the tech guys, they are very fintech, everything, right? It's about percentage, decimal points. You optimize for 1-2%, you're going to make a lot of money doing that. We've been talking about it, but we very much like to consider the opposite end of the spectrum, right? Where it is the very underserved, very archaic industries that have a lot more interest to us. So then we saw this knife sharpening, and we're like, this is really cool. Let's give it a shot. So we gave it our 12-week cycle, build a bit of an MVP, give it a shot, and then we're like, okay, for inquiries. And then we started rolling from there. Yeah.
How does that build up to it kind of look like? Like in the 12 week, what do you do?
Yeah, so the idea is that we have a template that you create that has a list of questions first you need to answer, right? Some validation things. And then once that passes approval from the two other guys, after you propose it, then we have every week you have something that need to be done. So in terms of like branding assets, basic website that you can build out, what's the North Star metric? Let's say how many 100 knives, right, is the goal by the end of this 12 weeks. Okay, spend X amount of budget on ads or whatever marketing media you want. Okay, let's see if we hit our target at the end of 12 weeks. If no, why? Is it something worth doing? Then we just reevaluate from there. So that's kind of how the process goes.
Yeah, and because you guys are coders, so you can just build.
Yeah, we whip it up pretty quick
on your
and
own.
we save money from that.
Okay, fair. And how has the business kind of grown over time?
The business is very, first of all, I think it's very, very rewarding type of business. Like at the point when we came in, it's a very undeveloped space.
Wait, just so our audience get it right, it's just as simple as you will mail in the knives. Like I will mail you my knives, and then you will sharpen it, and then you mail it back to me.
Actually, a little bit more simple than that, which is you don't even mail it to us. We just pick it up from you. So you just leave the knives. So we pick it up from you. then we'll return it to you next day
Where do you pick up my knives?
from your house. Yeah, so you don't even need to go out of your house. So it's very convenient for all the home cooks and whatever. Just pick up next day, and they got sharpened knives, and they're convenient. So it's one step further than the knife aid in the US, but that's because it's US. So we're gonna try. And Singaporeans seem to want a very fast turnaround time. So over there, it's 7 days. Singaporeans want
7
them,
days.
yeah, because of the mailing, right?
Yeah. That ain't gonna work.
That ain't
here.
gonna- yeah,
Yes,
that doesn't
yes,
fly
yes,
here.
7
So
days.
yeah, we have a faster turnaround time where it's just pick up next day, return, sharpened.
Okay. So the process will be that I'll pay you upfront, and then you take my knives, and then you will bring it to a warehouse somewhere. Is it your warehouse?
Yeah, so we have a few partners that we rely on for the sharpening. I do it as a hobby, but it doesn't make sense for me to sharpen like a few hundred knives. 'Cause
Maybe
that's not my
maybe
core skill set.
if he's the one that sharpened, you should put like a card, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
personally
Yeah,
sharpened
correct.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
signature
yeah,
and whatnot.
thank you.
Premium
Join the
service.
VIP club. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, otherwise I don't have the ability to have so much to sharpen at the
Okay.
volume.
And then everything is courier, right? So there's a third party that will do the shipping back and forth, pick it up, or
Yeah, so we have some drivers and riders that we rely on heavily. We built out a whole platform for them to handle the orders. So this is where all the tech comes in. So on the surface, it is a very simple business where it's very much more grounded, but we've built a lot of automation and tech that makes it very seamless for the customer and our drivers and our sharpeners. As in, we have a whole mapped out flow for it, but let's say as a customer, right? So your flow will be you come in, you message us, then you get obviously an automatic response with all of our pricing and everything. We ask you,
that's on Telegram.
that's
so
on WhatsApp.
it's not okay. So it's not a separate platform. You build native to my user.
Yes, correct. So we are leveraging on top of the WhatsApp API, so we can build a lot of automations off of that. So most of stuff is not really us replying in a way, or at least it's a lot of very automated messages.
I mean, how difficult can like knife sharpening? How much conversation I need to do with you to get
Oh, you'd be
my
surprised,
knife?
man. There's because these knives aren't cheap. It's some of them can go up to 1,000 and up. So people are it's a hobby. Yeah, it's a hobby. So for some people it's a hobby. For some people, it's practical. But some individuals are very particular about their knives. So we had that conversation with them. Then they go through the order form that we have online that we built out ourselves. So order form purchased already, it gets added to our DB. Then we can assign all these orders over to our drivers, to our sharpeners. And then, like for example, the driver he just sees a list of his orders. When he clicks on the platform, like he just submits a picture to us. We get notified. The customer gets notified via our number. Basically, a lot of flows happen. So all this stuff can automate and just operationalize a lot of work that more like mom and pop shop businesses usually don't do. Yeah.
Okay. How much do you actually make out of that? Like you built this whole thing. Yeah. And I mean, it's the only thing that's still alive in the Jobless Club. So something must be correct, right? It must be hitting whatever internal metrics that you're looking at. So tell me more. How does the numbers stack up?
So initially in our first few months, we managed to hit some revenue, and then our focus there, I don't think we were making any profits there yet, because we're still very small, and you need like the economies of scale and stuff. So like as we keep going, our revenue keep growing. But then at one point in time, we realized, okay, now we need to focus more on making sure we have profit. In fact, one of our few goals recently was to like make sure we have a certain margin. If not, we might decide to queue or at least make the project in a more maintainable state. Like not queue, but such that it can be run on its own. So we can have more bandwidth for other stuff. And yeah, so now currently our margins, we are 100% profitable. Wait, that's incorrect. We are profitable, but I think the margins are still like not the highest. It's like about 10%, depending on how we adjust.
Of course. You scale up further, it will expand, right?
Right.
Essentially,
Yeah. So I think the biggest expense so far is advertising. Everything else Sean also tried to minimize as much as possible. And so now our goal is try to get more organic marketing through our Instagram and whatnot, and try to optimize our ad spend.
You'd be surprised that's a different set cost.
Right.
So
that's a lot of work.
Okay. So without divulging business secrets, where's the place where you get your best customers? Lowest CAC, highest LTV.
No, you'd be surprised actually. It's really we've tried to do this analysis because we've really sharpened from a lot of customers already over the year.
Customer acquisition cost, by the way, for everybody that don't understand. It means how much does it cost to get this customer in, and then how much value does this customer spend on the platform, LTV? Yeah.
It's really from all over Singapore. Like we've got guys that obviously at the Sentosa, wherever we go pick up from them, right? So
No, and they found you on Facebook or
yeah, so the good thing is that again, it was a very underserved industry, right? So the moment we came in, we just dominated with SEO.
you're probably over Reddit, the community will talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so when people search for us, then we can rank very easily,
Yeah.
very quickly. Just because, again, this was not somebody's focus at that point in time. And then we were so we can just update all the SEO and everything. The Google reviews, we can just bump up. So we're like we're second place, we're the first place for knife sharpening, we're second place behind razor sharp, which has 160 reviews, or 140 something. But all at a very quick pace. So again, that's the beauty of hacking on
Yeah,
this
that's
sort of market.
exactly right. Yeah, all the hacking stuff. That's kind of where it is.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
But in terms of where the customers come from, it's really all over the place. There's guys that stay in landed Sentosa, but it's also a lot of like HDB home cooks, right? All the aunties and everything that they have like 7, 8 knives they want to sharpen, and we're like, yes, yeah, we'll help you handle it. And then when they get it back, like the reviews, everything, right? We just ask, if you would like to, please leave a review. But people write really
Elaborate,
elaborate
long
reviews. No, like
reviews.
because they
Yeah,
really
yeah.
enjoy the service, and it's something that even my mom now, I help her sharpen, right? Because before she didn't sharpen a knife, and she's a home cook. Then she's like,
Like,
wow,
wow, I didn't know knife need to sharpen one.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it makes a
Okay.
very big difference. But yeah, I think we did some analysis. Where do you find it Kallang that's got the most? Or
Kallang has the most
No, I forgot
people
what-
that
yeah.
need knife sharpening.
Yeah.
So-
I know downtown, like on the slightly towards like downtown to east, there's one there. Then there's I think Bukit Banjang.
That's we were doing this. We were trying to figure out where
Yeah,
the
hot
mapping.
spots, people
Yeah.
with a lot of knives.
Yeah.
Not sure if it's a good marketing.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, actually, one of the reasons we did that is also because we wanted. I think we did some like door to door
Flyers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're trying to
That
find
did
out
not
where's the best place to do that.
Yeah, no, flyers only work for businesses that are within a radius.
Yeah, it was really bad.
So don't waste your time on those things. Yes. Okay. But it is interesting because you finally find something that works, but you're not thinking of like, what's the TAM? How do we scale this? How do we grow it? Because you were just saying like, let's try to get it to a healthy margins and then we'll move on to the next project. So it's a different way of thinking, right? Right. Tell me more. How does this thing work? Yeah.
Initially, when we first did this knife sharpening, and I was like a bit against it when Sean was proposing.
Because
So
you
it's
don't
like-
cook, is it?
Yeah, because I don't cook. And I was like,
it's
isn't there
that.
something
You
like
don't
this
cook,
out
you
there?
don't get it. Yes, I can understand. Yes.
And so like I was doing the attempt to like convince otherwise and stuff like that. But then I think one of the biggest lessons we really learned in the past was that, you just try and then let the feedback give you the answer. And so like we shifted away from, do first, we shifted towards do first and then find out later. As long as we feel like there's some evidence of an opportunity, we jump in first. And then if not, we pivot fast if something goes unexpected or something away from our goal. And yeah, so that's why now our approach is more of like to just dive in first, instead of like doing like calculating all the. I think in the past before we started on this, at least for me when I started my own stuff, I will like do this is the goal. I have this 12-month plan, right? Every step must achieve this, and most of the time it never
Doesn't
works,
work.
right? Yeah.
The
that
second
was a
step,
good
it
learning.
doesn't work already.
Like the first day of the plan. Oh
Yeah,
shit!
yeah.
I need to change the
Yeah,
plan.
yeah,
So
yeah,
every
yeah.
day becomes changing
Horrible
the plan.
planning.
Yeah.
Okay. No, but now you found something, and
Yep.
yet you're thinking of like, let's do the next thing.
All
right?
right.
So like, what's the thinking here?
Yeah, no, it's really less of that and just more for this particular business. So we've experimented with a few ways of like where we like double the ad spend and whatnot, right? But the growth doesn't scale that way. Yeah. So we're like, we're like question marks here
You
because
need to do a knife convention.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
or
like
something
a
like that.
community. Back to community. What the hell?
yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's
so
must
it's like,
stay away
okay,
from
no
that.
more.
Yeah. So we're like, something like the math isn't mathing here. So we're wondering, is it worth trying to find other avenues to scale this up? Or do we let this be, or maybe this is just the nature of the business, right? Where it is
Happy,
organic.
cozy,
Yeah.
like a trading card shop, right?
Yes,
It's just
exactly.
where it is,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Because it's like I said, I always tell the guys like this is not a 1-year kind of business. This is like I want to keep this for the rest of our lives. Like it's a 10, 20-year kind of model where, we are already one of the bigger names now. And if you just let it roll, right, and keep on maintaining the efforts and just keep on improving bit by bit, we're just gonna become the name. And that like there's a lot of recurring customers coming back now already. If you can just build a pool, right, and it just cycles, that's very good. Like but it's very hard to sort of hijack the growth like it is for a startup, I feel, for this one. At least we haven't been able to do it successfully. So that's why we're thinking, okay, we can't seem to scale this or hijack the growth very significantly. So let's allocate one. So we have 3 quarterly goals every quarter. Let's allocate 1 quarterly goal just to make sure that it's maintained. and we spend the other 2 goals, pursuing a new project that can, maybe have the sort of skill that we're looking for.
Okay, fair. I think that's very logical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then do you even have a life? I mean, you have a full-time job, and then the way you talk about these things, it's not like a rando thought, right?
Yeah.
Like you have a framework, you go through this whole iteration, you discuss and then all that. Like you guys are dating each other, it's as good as that, right? Like, do you even have I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong, right? I'm just trying to understand, like, for whole context for the audience, right? Like if you're gonna do this main hustle and then go this super intense side hustle that is structured and constantly iterating, like what is other aspects of life where you are today?
It's a bit of mixed feelings, Like at one point in time, like, you're thinking, if I just stop doing this, I have so much free time to do what I
Exactly.
really want. Like,
Because
it
you're
could
not
be,
taking
it
it
could be that
lightly,
easy.
You sound like you're doing this very seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, like when I'm looking back, we're very happy with what we did with 100 Club, with all our other stuff. And we work very well with each other. And we meet every week, just to make sure that we are on track, to keep each other accountable, and also just to, have meals and have fun together. But in terms of hours, I think this mostly takes like, 1 or 2 hours. 1 or 2 hours on like weekdays when the extra time you have other than work. And then spend maybe what full day on the weekends, hang out with each other and also work on this thing together. And I think the beauty is that because we have 3 people working on this, so like that workload and that pressure is split. But maybe if I was working solo on this knife sharpening, I think
You have tanked long ago,
Yeah.
right? You're like, this is too much, I'm done. Okay. So that whole idea of a jobless club, it sounds a lot more than just trying to get the number, like then actually like go to Chiang Mai and do clamping. But it's kind of like an ideal, right? The way you do life, the way you kind of like work with this, right? So if somebody listens to this and then they get like, hey, it's quite inspiring, right? It's a different way to look at how to spend your time, right? What kind of advice would you have for them if they want to do something similar? Maybe I don't know, whatever club lah, right? But like trying to do all this like hacking, side questing, all that, right? What would you tell them
We actually met
after trying all the stupid things?
Yeah, no, it's really trying a lot of stupid things.
Yeah.
Or we even met a guy recently who saw the CNA interview and he was like, "Yeah, I've been trying to do exactly this. I love to know what you
After
guys are
this,
doing."
there'll be more people that are gonna talk to this, because we are in that exact corner of the internet. Yes.
But we are very open to, like, we just share our resources with him. He's like, yeah, this is template we use, this is a framework. Because again, we are hyper documenters. Like everything is really documented. So when situations come out like this, we're just like, yeah, bam, here you go. Let's have a chat. I'll run you through everything. You give it a shot. He was like, okay, can I run on a cycle with you? So when the quarter starts, then we do it together. And I'm like, yeah, no issue. Like we just work together only. So happy to kind of support if anybody's interested. Like we can just share the resources we have. And I would say that most people like are kind of just like they don't do it, right? But just whack only. I mean, it is really a very fun side project. Like that's why you say, is it work? What not? Not really. It's a hobby. Because frankly, I get a weekend that I don't do anything, right? I'm
sian,
very
ah.
I'm really very restless,
Yeah.
damn sian. And then it's like, I at least these are all mini goals. Because if you ask me, if we achieve 30K MR, am I gonna stop working on projects? The answer
Doesn't
is
sound
no,
like it.
Yeah,
You're just
as in-
gonna move the thing to glamping ground,
Yeah.
and you're gonna continue this 100K, MR now.
Yeah. So
Right.
it's really more of just it's fun lah. And that's why doing it with these guys is fun. So
Oh, it's very interesting. It's a different way of life. Yeah. Any other thought? No, I do find genuinely I find it very, because everybody that's trying to so-called side hustle, it's just trying to like make income or like create a big enough side hustle so that they can quit their main hustle.
Yeah.
But you guys just sound like you're enjoying this whole process and that whole
Yeah.
bit, it's like the process in itself, it's already a thing, right? So any other things to add?
Yeah, and so that's exactly what you said could be a good or bad thing, because technically we do this is really for the money, right? I mean, obviously the process is fun and stuff, but if it doesn't make money, we skip it, and also it doesn't achieve our objective. And so like I think it's a bit more of finding that right mindset, and it's also why we are currently in this state where we have a full-time job and doing this on the side. Is that exactly as what Sean said? You can focus more on like building this to the best of your ability rather than worrying about your next paycheck and stuff like that. And to the point about nothing to do, I think having nothing to do is way more tiring than having something that you enjoy doing.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate the chat. If our audience would like to connect, where is the best place to connect?
can reach out to us via email. If you go to our website, you'll see all our details there. So you can reach out there. Jobless.club.
Great. Thank you. Thank
Yep,
you.
Thanks so much
Thank you
for
very
having
much.
us.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. It actually turned out a little bit different from what I was expecting. I was expecting like this bunch of people that just like hate their corporate job, want to quit, and like we are doing this thing on the side so that we can do and be done with it. But it is an interesting shift, right? Actually thinking of how you can live a life and then build things on the side and think of it as a way of life, right? And of course, ultimately achieving the goals, right? So I wish you guys well, and if you enjoyed today's episode, please head to thefinancialcoconut.com to put your email address so that we can reach out to you and route out the algorithm whenever we need to, right? So we have events, we're doing launches and all that fun stuff. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Chills with TFC. I will see you next week. Meanwhile, take care. Bye-bye.